Broncos fans can enjoy understanding. I was so mad that we lost that game. So
I'm just saying, Sean Payton joins the franchise and immediately Kareem Jackson gets his second suspension for dirty hits during the year. That's all I'm saying. So transitioning away from the Broncos, because as much as this was their game, every single important play involved the Vikings either doing well or making a mistake. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, you look at the 6 most impactful plays this game by expected points added. It was the Madison fumble, the Dobbs fumble, the Dobbs interception, that big Chandler rush, a Dobbs scramble, and a pass interference penalty thrown by Dobbs. So all 6 of those plays involved the Vikings either throwing the game away or trying to throw themselves back into it. And the story of the Vikings all season has been losing games that they really should win, where they play better than their opponent. By the numbers, they're better, but something fluky, whether it's like the 4th fumble of the game or the opponent coming alive at just the right moment, something always goes wrong for this team. After last year, something always went right for this team. And once again, a 1-score game. The Vikings really should have won, just slips away.
The one of the most crushing plays of the season so far for me is when you have Ivan Pace strip. I think it was P. Ryan. I can't remember who it was. It was P. Ryan.
And it just rolls at the end of the game, out of
bounds. Rookie. He's wearing the green dot for that game. He's been fantastic, undrafted. He comes in and strips the ball there. And it's just the Vikings' luck to have it bounce off his chest and roll a half yard out of bounds before he gets it. When the entire game, every ball that's on the ground, really all season, every ball that's on the ground bounces away from Minnesota. It's so frustrating watching these games this year where we have 5 losses by 1 score. Every single one of our losses is a 1-score game. And it's crazy going back the past 3 years. Almost every Viking game, other than a couple blowout losses, are 1-score heartbreakers or thrilling wins. And I know a lot of people were upset with Josh Dobbs yesterday, which kind of surprised me. People were rightfully upset with Alexander Madison. He's got to stop fumbling, but I thought Madison played fairly well other than that. But Dobbs, I saw a couple people saying throw Jaron Hall in there, and that makes no sense to me right now.
No, I thought Dobbs was pretty good yesterday.
Well, they were upset with him under pressure, and at some point you have to look and say, look, guys, like, we got to block for him. There's nothing he can do on a couple of those plays when there's someone in his face immediately. And you also have to remember, you're going to get at least 2 or 3 throws a game from Josh Dobbs where you hold your breath and say, oh God, please don't get picked. And as long as it doesn't get picked, you should be okay. But he'll have those throws. He's not like Kirk, who barely made mistakes passing the football.
I mean, look, like, I think people got a little too caught up in the Dobbs hype. It's still his 3rd week with the team. He's still sort of learning how things work. It's not like we traded for Aaron Rodgers here, right? No. He's who he's supposed to be, right? He is a decent quarterback that can learn a system and play at a level where if things go right, you don't lose the game.
Ultimately, too, here's the thing. As good or as mediocre as you want to say he played, I think he played pretty solid.
I thought he played fine, too.
But ultimately, it's on the defense. When you're winning by 5 points late and the Broncos got to go, 80 yards down the field, you got to stop them. And that corner, at the end of the game had a pick and just didn't turn around, and Sutton mossed him.
Blackman didn't make a play on the ball. The defense, for some reason, was giving up all those checkdowns. The P. Ryan had 40 yards, 45 yards on the drive.
Double digits. Madison fumbles in Broncos territory.
Madison fumble allowed them back in the game, and that's been the case all year. We lost to the Chargers with a fumble on the 1-yard line, multiple turnovers, 3rd and 19 bouncing off a corner's head to Joshua Palmer. Every game we lose, you can look back and say there's these absurd. The fumbling issues are just unbelievable. But we still have Justin Jefferson coming back now. I mean, you have to remember that's an unbelievable addition to this
generational
team
talent.
Yeah, it's a top 3 player in the league coming back to the team here. So I still feel pretty good about the Vikings. The coaching, I've said all year, Flores and O'Connell have been phenomenal this year. Zach's just nodding, going, yeah, okay, my Dolphins are sitting here.
The Vikings are...
Say.
What?
It's incredible how teams play at home against good teams. Isn't it crazy?
What do you mean?
How good teams play at home?
Home field matters.
It does.
I didn't think Denver was that great last night.
I don't care. Denver has won at home against
you
guys.
Yeah. When they beat the Chiefs at home.
They got to play the Chiefs at home. They won. It's just ridiculous to me that Dolphins don't play good teams at home.
This is where we're coming back to. That makes more sense.
Well, all I'm going to say is the Vikings are a lock for the playoffs at this point. They're 6-5. Who's competing with them? the 4-6 Packers, the 4-6 Rams, the 4-6 Falcons, the 4-6 Buccaneers. Like, that's it. That's the competition to make the playoffs this year. Vikings are going to be just fine. And then we'll go to Philadelphia, get the...
yeah.
We'll lose the game.
Good hold.
We will get tarred and feathered. And then after we're tarred and feathered, we'll be hung and quartered. Jeez. And we'll move on to next season.
Yeah, and maybe Kirk comes back.
Hey, look, if that's the case, after starting 1-4 and losing Kirk
and Jefferson,
that's not a terrible season.
Final thing here on this game, I just want your thoughts, Ziggy. Did you like the TJ Hawkinson pitch to Josh Dobbs? Because I thought that might be the worst play I've ever seen in my life.
That's Matt Canada-esque.
I have no idea why we're pitching the ball to Dobbs. Like pitch it to Ty Chandler.
That's like firing. We pitching the ball to Kenny Pickett.
Why do we want Dobbs taking a spear from Kareem Jackson when we have no quarterbacks? Like, it makes no sense to me. Did you feel similar?
It's NFL play callers. This is just a thing. They're very smart, very intelligent individuals. That's not a joke, but sometimes I'm not talking about Matt Canada here. I'm talking about real offensive coordinators. Sometimes when you're an offensive coordinator like that, you just get caught up in your own head. You get a vision about how the play is going to go, and it can be very difficult to detach from that. In general, I mean, the O'Connell offense is just great. I'll take the occasional dud, but that was silly.
I have no idea why we have linebackers and safeties like coming down for Dobbs' throat. I texted
you. You see that Steelers play you just ran?
Yeah. What the hell are we doing? The guy got lit up. All right, let's talk.
One more funny play,
please,
before we just move on.
The Judy.
Yeah. The Judy play was hilarious.
That kind of bullshit only happens to us. We have receivers pumping passes, and it works.
What is there like a world you thought it was a back behind the line of scrimmage? Like maybe.
No, I see how you could get fooled on it, but it's just
funny.
You never see that stuff happen.
No, that was so funny.
I hate us, but you know what? It's been a fun Vikings team to root for.
Good stretch for Denver. Good stretch for Denver.
Yeah.
Great home field advantage.
They won in
Screw
Buffalo.
the Broncos.
What's your excuse?
What?
They won in Buffalo.
They did win in Buffalo.
What's your excuse?
At night.
You lost by 30 there.
I
Move on. Yeah, home field advantage is great.